Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
First world, come in and take a seat. Pay us no attention, it's all conspiracy. We have satire and parody, some funny, some perverse. If none of it's offensive to you, you'd be the first. till I die. And kill till I die.
The Madness Comic Network and Comic Related Madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Oh, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's me, Laurie Calcaterra, your hostess with the mostest from Path of the Pale Rider, your writer-creator of that Western Apocalypse series. I'm telling you, man, we go live for our next campaign on Monday next week. So if you are not signed up for notification, oh my gosh, please go hit that green banner. Because when we go live, there's a lot of those exclusives that are gonna go. I know for sure those Big James Funkos, we only can do 5. That's all my sculptor can do in that short amount of time. So if you are collecting those Funkos or you just want the freaking Big James one like I do, get in there so you can get that Big James Funko. There's the Secret Ward, which is really cool. I've kind of been hinting what it is. So if you've been paying attention, you'll know. Those I'm making 4 of those. Those are amazing. And it's like, that's it, right? Those are done. We're going to be opening up some original art from Marco. We're going to have some really cool stuff like hot sauce and metal covers and get drawn into the comic and get mauled by James the Undead Bear. There's a lot of stuff that's really cool. And I'm excited to bring it to you. I also wanted to say, I haven't really announced the other 2 variant covers that are coming, but I do have 2 artists that are attached, and as soon as they're done, they will be released. So we already had the Angelo Aquino cover. We had the Everett Watkins Bins cover. We're going to have 2 more covers. We're going to have a William Russell cover, which is super exciting. I love working with him. He brings an energy to the project, which is really cool. And I haven't talked about this at all yet, but David Sanchez will be doing a cover for Path of the Pale Rider. He's an amazing artist. I mean, like I of course always have these amazing artists that bring their own thing to the table, but he's a image variant cover artist. He's done covers for like Something is Killing the Children and Witch Hammer. There's a new one that's just premiering on Image called World Tree, which he did this amazing cover for. Fabulous. So all of these things are coming. You know how Kickstartering is. You try to be ready, and then it's like having kids. Are you ever truly ready to have kids? No. So we're getting everything is in line to launch, and then you'll get the variant covers. And of course, I'm still working on that short film. I still have my footage to knock out this week. If you are filming stuff for the short film to send to me, I need it. Send it in. Otherwise, I won't be able to squeeze you in because, of course, I try to get those done, before campaign. They never get done before campaign. But, within the first week or so, we're usually done with the short film. So even if you just want to send me like 1 or 2 of those scenes, that would be great. I'm still looking for footage, kind of fill in the gaps. Good morning, Dawn. How are you? Nice to see you. I'm going to stick a banner up here. I lost my banners. Hail chat. Everybody can participate. So today we're going to talk to a guest. I'm very excited about this Kickstarter. It's like one of the cool ones, It's like we always have stuff that we have our eyes on. But I was a big Power Ranger fan when I was a kid. And this has to do with like mecha and kaiju and all that good stuff. So I'm really excited. I'd like everybody to say hello to Dalton Shannon. Hello.
Hi. Hey, how's it going? I'm great.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm super excited to have you on. I've been waiting. It's I talked with Jeff about having you guys on the show, and he sent me the link like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I've been watching like, ooh.
Yeah.
Doing this week. Oh yeah, cool. We're doing kaiju and mecha.
It's always a good day to talk about
It's always
mechs
a
and
good day
kaiju.
when you get to talk
Yes.
about kaiju and mecha.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So for the people watching, why don't you introduce yourself? Because you're a fellow writer, aren't you? Correct?
Yes. I am the co-creator and co-writer on Mechaton, our other book, Frankenstein the Unconquered, a horror anthology, Descent into Dread, along with a number of upcoming projects.
Very cool. This will be fun because I like having artists on, but my favorite is to have writers on because that's kind of like where I live. I'm the
Sure.
writer of our project. So it's like, ooh, we can pick each other's heads.
No, I love talking craft, so this will be fun.
That's exciting. So yay. So when did you start your writing journey? Like, how did that start?
Well, like most things, I was 8, and no, I had always been into like superheroes and stuff because of the cartoons. I grew up on Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
And
so we're probably about the same age because I was watching all those things.
Oh, hi, Dawn. Yes. Yeah, so growing up watching those, I was obsessed. I had a lot of toys. And then I was 8 walking in the supermarket with my mom, and on what I am convinced is the last spinner rack in America was a Spider-Man comic with like this really striking John Romita Jr. cover. And I was like, I know that guy from TV. You're telling me I can get more Spider-Man in these little pamphlets? And then it just kind of, I became obsessed like most children do. And just, I picked up every comic book I could find. And then about the same year, in one of the best parts of grade school book fair season, there was Dave Pilkey's Captain Underpants novels, where 2 8-year-old boys make their own like hand stapled comic books about their superhero. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that. And so pretty much ever since then, I've been drawing and making my own comics. And it wasn't until probably junior high school that I realized my art couldn't match the stories I was wanting. Like I couldn't just translate it to the page, no matter how hard I tried. So I leaned more into the writing, taught myself how to do comic scripts, and it's been off to the races ever since. I still draw. I'm actually working on a solo project right now where I'm doing like the entire thing. But the focus of my my craft right now is mostly writing, and it has been for a good long while.
Gotcha. I'm the same way. Like I really wanted to do comics, and I actually have an art degree, but it was more like painting and photography and like metals and sculpture. I was like, what if these translate to what I want to do? Right. So then it became, okay, I could either do it myself and pick it apart for 10 years because I won't think it's good enough. You know what I mean? Or I can find an artist who actually knows what they're doing. Right? So I'm with you where it's like, I'm still drawing and I'm still creating art, but it's just not on my own project. And that confuses the heck out of people where they're like, how come you're not doing your own stuff? Where it's like, I don't think I can do it justice. So in order for the story to be told as intended, I hired Marco. So I completely feel
at some point, you either have to spend the time to get where you want to be, or you have to spend the cash to find a partner who will help you.
Right. And I think a lot of it is time. So,
it's time.
I knew I could learn that, but I would probably have to take a year or two to study, to learn, to do classes. You know what I mean? But I was just like, or I could just hire somebody.
The comics are, the older I get and the more I want to do, and like the reality of comics comes into focus, the more it becomes readily apparent that there's never going to be enough time in the world. Comics are one of the largest like artistic time sinks you can try to master. It's not just writing, it's art, it's inking, it's coloring, and I'm colorblind, so there's another barrier. And then lettering, like so much goes into a page. I don't know how artists used to keep up with a monthly schedule. It's wild.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to piecemeal it so much, because it is so labor intensive.
Right. But I think, yeah, when you have that crew assembled, it tends to go quick. It's hard, like you said, when you're doing it all yourself, because there are so many steps where it's like pencils and then inks and then flats and then color and then letters. And it's like, okay, and then it goes to editing and then you got to fix stuff. So it's like, it's a never ending touching of things. So, so between the three of us, we can go a lot quicker than if it's just like just Marco or just me.
Absolutely.
So that tends to help. So how did you meet your team? Because you and Wells Thompson are co-writers on a bunch of these projects that you mentioned, correct? So
all of them, basically, yeah. We met in college. We both went to the University of Central Arkansas, and we actually met through my wife. Hello.
Really?
And she was, school always has these different schedules. So like she had met Wells, I think like the year before. And they would sometimes get like breakfast together. And one day I was able to actually meet up for breakfast, and she introduced me, and I was like, that's Wells, all right. Yep. Okay. And I didn't think much more of it, but then we started kind of popping up into each other's writing classes, and just, being around each other a lot more, seeing what the other could do creatively. We both kind of really enjoyed what each of us brought to the different projects that we worked on individually. And so we worked together on a few things in college, and then kind of tried to do our own things after college to middling success. And then I just came to Wells one day and I was like, hey, you want to do comics? He was like, never thought about it. Let's try it. And so
like, say less. I'm there.
Yeah, I kind of dragged him kicking and screaming into comics. He's much more of a literary guy. He's done like short stories, and he's written his own novel, and he's done screenplays and things, but he's never really done comics until I drug him into it. And he's Daisy. Sorry, my cat is being a little obnoxious right now.
Welcome on
you
the
can't
show.
be messing with stuff, Daisy.
Hi, Daisy. Okay.
And and to his credit, Wells fell right into it, and I think he's still loving it. It sounds like he is.
Are you still loving it? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part's working with me, and vice versa, so it works out.
But at least you're still enjoying like writing comics. So as long as everybody can get along and get the project done, I think that's what's
it helps. It helps when you actually like the people you're working with, and it's not just a job. Yeah. But the rest of our team we actually found through Twitter. Like Fernando was actually finding a good artist for a book like Mechaton was an arduous process, because the book it's honestly a demanding book. It's a book about each issue has a unique mech, because whatever you punch turns into a mech. So it's like what does a hot dog cart look like when it's turned into a mech? What does a house look like, or a city block, or a car? Like we have the easy job, but we're like, and then it turns into this, and then Fernando's got to figure out what that is and how it looks cool. And so like there was a long process of trying to find like the right style, the right energy. We had found a few different artists, and then I think we were looking at Fernando for a variant cover. And the more we looked at his style, he's also got a webcomic called Gun Punch as well that he does. His style's super kinetic. The character acting is always great, and he draws the heck out of giant robots. So it kind of was a natural fit. And and to Fernando's credit, he seems like he's having a great time too. We give all of our artists a lot of leeway. We go full script when we write, because I don't know any other way, honestly. Marvel method is terrifying. But we want to try it someday. But right now we're still full script. But we always tell Fernando, like, look, we're the writers here. We're not the guys who are gonna know what looks best on the page. We just are, laying the story out. If you think something looks better or can be better or needs to be omitted, like, we trust you to do that. Like this is your once it hits Fernando, it's his baby. And So he's able to take what we lay out and actually make it into something that and make the comic book, because until then it's just like shadow figures on a wall, like it doesn't have any weight.
I 100% agree with that method. That's the method that I use with my artists as well. I very seldom will talk about like camera angles or anything. Like with him, he's just free to panel how he wants to convey the story. We've had great success with that. So like I just, I make sure that there's certain plot points that I let him know are important. So if there's a close up, or like he needs to look at the keys, or he needs to, he's doing insults with sign language or something in this panel. So he gives me enough space to letter. But for the most part, I'm just like, have at it, dude. Yeah. And he just fills in the blanks, like, because I will give like, okay, this is what's happening in the plot. But then Marco will go and like, put a singing bass on the wall, put, Easter eggs, and like put a toilet in a tree somewhere. And it's just like, he puts in this funny stuff just to like fill in the blanks, and like extra zombies, and
it fills the world out. Yeah. Makes it feel a little more lived in. Like we encountered that with the basement where Derek and Leah hang out a lot. We had just said basement, and then Fernando took that as like, oh, here's all the nooks and crannies, like collectibles and like TVs and posters. Like it makes the world feel lived in when the artist has free reign to just do what they want to do.
Right. And that's so cool. A lot of artists love that, where it's just like, get out of their way, let them create. Other artists need more input, but not mine. Not yours.
We've discussed doing like a Marvel Method Mechaton special, like an 8-page little thing where we just tell Fernando, and and then they fight God, go for it. And Fernando just does 8 pages of mechs fighting whatever the heck. And I would love to try something like that out and
just
see
to
how
see
Fernando
what he would do.
Just to do, like, I love, like, to me the comic artist is the most important part of any team, and they're the ones who actually make the book. So to give Fernando that kind of control over a piece would, I think that'd be fascinating.
Subject, Dalton. People go back and forth all the time. Which is more important, story or art?
It's art. It's art. It's a visual medium.
Really?
There's no debate. It's art.
I
the
disagree.
Story. Now, see, I really like it. A comic book can exist without words. A comic book can exist without a writer. Like, Fernando doesn't need me to make comics. He could make whatever he wanted. I just don't have the skill level to be able to draw like Fernando. So until I collaborate with Fernando, it's not a comic book.
I feel like fancy art will get you 1 or 2 issues. After that, people expect something to bring them back besides art. I feel like they're equal. You have to have both, because pretty pictures you can get anywhere. But if you have a longer series or anything that's over 3 issues, you got to have something to keep people interested, and that's that story aspect of it.
Sure.
So really, in my humble opinion, they're equal, just to make sure like everybody gets their, the box is checked. There needs to be good art. There needs to be a good story. They need to be equal. Because my artist is fabulous at what he does too, but he's using my direction. So in my first issue, there are very little words because my guy is out in the wilderness and it's dangerous to make noise because things will come and eat him. So there's, like I said, there's very little words, but he still needs direction of like, what's happening? What is this character feeling? And then when we get into like issue 2, issue 3, we can't really get away with not having too many words. People want to know what the heck is going on. So it's like, we have to have some kind of exposition. We have some fights. We have, does he find what he's looking for? I kill off lots of people because that's the kind of world I build. Welcome to Western Apocalypse meets Game of Thrones. I don't know. We kill everybody. Sure. So I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts. But I 100% agree with you that it is a visual medium. It has to have that art aspect, or just go read a book. Like, what's the point?
The art is the story. Like, if the art, like, Marvel Comics would not exist without Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, and they were dictating the page. Stan Lee was essentially a glorified editor on those books. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but
I was
like,
like, ooh, you're lucky. We'll see if the chat will come.
sorry, guys, but no, I would never say that Kirby was the sole creative vision of the company. Like, it's definitely a Stan and Jack endeavor, but Jack was doing all the work. Like, those are his stories. That great run of Fantastic Four is Stan saying, and then they fight God, and then Jack Kirby giving him 3 entire issues where Stan has to figure out, who's this guy on the surfboard? What do I do with him? And Kirby's like, it's the Silver Surfer, dude. Come on, keep up. Like, so to me, the art is the story, and it's the writer. If there is a separate writer, a separate entity from the artist, then it's the writer's job to make sure that you're utilizing the artist to the best of their ability to tell the best kind of story you can. So I honestly feel like I am the least important part of the team, because all I'm doing is giving the shadows on the cave wall and being like, and here's what I think would be cool. And then they're like, okay, but this would be cooler. And then the story becomes better for it. And so until the last bit of Nathan's letters hit the page, like, it's not a full-fledged comic book. And I think those guys deserve way more credit than either Wells or me for the success that we've had.
I mean, it takes a team. It really does.
It does. Especially in the indies scene.
Because of that reason, where it's like, the art is great, the story has to be there, the letters fill in, you know, where the direction is going, and you can convey so much. And that what's cool about it is it doesn't, cost $11 million in special effects to get the point across.
Yes. No, the collaborative nature of comics is great.
In a comic book. And that's why we love them. They take us to places we've never dreamt of,
Yeah. No, the comics are the best medium. And for a good, and for a good chunk of comics, like, the collaborative nature of them is what makes them very special. Like, I love the cartoonist who can do the entire thing by themselves. And like Michel Fife on Copra is probably one of the consistently best comics of the past 12 years. And he does everything tip to stern. But then there are, especially in mainstream comics and a lot of the indie comic scene, they're better for the collaboration. Like, if I was drawing stick figures, Mechaton would not be the book it is, and we need that collaboration to really make them the best they can be for the skill levels that we all have.
Right. And I think even just on the creative level, where it's like, I have this idea, and I talk to people about it, or I let someone read the script and they're like, this is really cool, but did you ever think of this? Or they just ask questions like, what happens to this in this world? And I'm like, oh yeah, we never talked about that, And so it can make your story a lot bigger when you have more people involved. But you're right, it's finding the right people. So when you have a Dalton and a Wells, you know what I mean, where you guys mesh so well and you could work on multiple projects. I think that's really cool. It's important to find that relationship to really build your stories together and then hang on to that person as long as you can. You never know where artists are going to go. Like, mine is like, I'm going to apply to DC, and I'm like, God bless you, I love you, I want you to succeed, but don't forget about me. Like, it was like, you could still do my project too, right? He's like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's Cowboys or Batman? Like, come on.
Cowboys or Batman? I know. Yeah. Batman 100% of the time, right? I mean, if you could be anybody, choose anybody.
As long as those checks clear. As long as those checks clear, like it's Batman.
I know. I was like, if you need something, come back. All right, so let's talk about why kaiju. What interested you guys? And tell people the basis of your story. Like, what's going on? Because you kind of mentioned, like, anything this kid punches turns into a mech.
Yes.
Or a kaiju.
A mech. So a glove falls from space, and 2 siblings discover it and find that whatever they punch turns into a giant mech. So that could be a hot dog cart, a car, a house, like, you name it. becomes a mech, and it's good because kaiju have started to kind of pop up. And maybe some other robots, or maybe some government agencies, or some space fascists. Like there's a whole number of things that are starting to pop up that they're going to have to deal with whether they want to or not. And they do it by punching things and making robots, which I think is kind of the utopia we're all kind of striving for, personally.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
If I could just punch a thing and get a mech and go take care of a problem,
perfect.
I'm doing that.
It doesn't matter if it actually makes the situation easier. It makes it cooler at the very least. And they're all about style point. Comics are all about style points.
Right. Good point. And I'll bring up the Kickstarter at some point so people can see the video and see the art. I am in love with the color style that your colorist chose. It's just very dynamic. Great. It's like the neon greens and the purples, and it just pops. And it works great for the art style that Fernando has. So we'll leave that out there as a teaser for people. You'll get to see it in a minute when we get there. But my question is, so in the story, they do things with his glove, it becomes a mech. Then who drives the mech?
Yes, so the glove is actually attached to Derek, the brother, and he can't get it off. And so now he has to, when he punches things, the mech forms around the glove and Derek ends up in the cockpit. And his sister, Leah, is kind of the quote-unquote brains. They share one brain cell between them, but she's better at planning, and she's kind of like the backseat gamer to him in that regard. So Derek's good at taking action and getting the job done, but he isn't necessarily sure on how to do that. If he was by himself in the mech, he'd probably end up with his own foot in his head. And so Leah's there. She's got the glove is the program for the glove is on her phone, so she's able to view his heads-up display, and she's able to see what kind of weaponry he has, and kind of is able to plot the best course of action for each fight, because each mech has its own unique capabilities, its own unique weaponry. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. Sometimes the mech just has a big umbrella shield, and then other times it's got a chimney cannon. And so there's lots of different variables at play, and them working together really cements the partnership and makes it so that they can at least attempt to take on whatever shows up.
Right. And I get, the brother-sister relationship, I'm sure, is really fun to watch. I know my siblings, we would probably argue 100% of the time about what the best course is.
Oh yeah, right? No, the sibling relationship is the heart of the book. The aesthetic core is all the cool robots, but the actual core is Derek and Leah's relationship as a brother and sister. I've got a younger brother. Wells has older brothers, and we've never really seen great sibling dynamics in a lot of fiction. It's either super wholesome, or it's super antagonistic. And we wanted to show that siblings are both of those things. You love them to death, but you tear their head off if they breathed at you wrong. They always go up to bat.
Accurate.
Yeah. I would go to bat for my brother 100 times out of 100, but I'd also use the bat to cave his head in if I thought he needed it.
Stop chewing with your mouth open. I'm gonna unalive you.
Yes, and so we get to see that they really care for each other, but they are not above picking at each other or socking each other in the head when they think they're stupid. It's this kind of, it's a casual antagonism that has that grounding in respect and love and care for each other, and so that's a really great dynamic to play with, because it's like writing best friends, but on a deeper level, because you grew up right across the hallway from them your entire life.
Right. How old are the siblings?
They are in probably their early 20s. We never have a solid age for them. They're 20-somethings. Derek is slightly older than Leah, but Leah acts like the older sister a lot of the time. She's a little more
mature
in her own head. She's a little more self-centered. She's the artistic one, and Derek is a lot more schlubby. He's got a really good heart and loves to help people, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of direction. So they kind of balance each other out a lot,
Yeah.
and it honestly kind of feels like mine and Wells' writing relationship too. He always has to, like, I'm always wanting the big robots, and he has to be like, no, we gotta explore other things besides robots right now, Dalton. Let's look over here. So it's the best relationship that I've personally written in comics so far.
And that's cool. It's like you can kind of take pieces of your real life with your siblings and also your relationship with your co-writer. It still gives it like that authentic relationship feel. You know what I mean? So I think that people can definitely relate to what they're seeing on the page between the characters. So let me ask you this. So at the end of every issue, does the mecha like disappear, get destroyed, like just go into a garage or storage? Like there's the hot dog mecha.
It's I mean, it will depend on each situation. We've had quite a few. We have quite a few mechs that end up getting destroyed, or for the most part, it's Derek has to, like, think about normalcy. Like, once the situation's passed, he can kind of like calm down and essentially tell the glove to put everything back.
Okay.
So it'll reconstitute what it built the mech out of. There's some funny things that happen, like he punches Leah's partner, Hex, has a house, and Derek punches the house, uses it for a mech, and then puts it back. But for some reason, all the books in their house are now backwards. Like all the text is backwards, and like they don't know why. It's just a weirdly specific detail, and that's not even a consistent detail that we pull. So sometimes he sets it down backwards, and they have to go and reset the house, turn it into a mech again, and set it back down so it faces the street again.
That's fun.
And sometimes it comes back better than it was before. Like the hot dog cart was destroyed in a kaiju attack, and Derek punches it out of anger, makes the mech. And then when he resets the mech, the hot dog cart is back to normal, like it was never crushed in the first place. So,
nice.
It kind of depends. The glove has a lot to do with intent, but it really depends on Derek's state of mind when the mech is falling apart, more or less.
Gotcha. What age group would you say that this comic is for? Like, what audience are you trying to relate to?
Well, the book says all ages, and I think we mean that in the strictest sense of an 8-year-old can pick it up and have fun with it, and a 48-year-old can pick it up and have fun with it. Like, we're not naive enough to think the book is for everybody, but if it's come to the point where like PG-13 Marvel films are, anybody can go see those and have a good time. And so I think this is kind of in that same realm where it's not for kids, but it doesn't exclude kids. They can still read it and have a great time, and parents don't have to worry if there's going to be a bunch of cursing thrown their way all the time. Like it's fun. If you watched it on Toonami, like that's kind of the age range we're kind of going for. It's it's like our other book, Frankenstein, is like very mature, very hard R.
Right.
There's cursing, there's incredibly graphic violence, some nudity, and Mechaton is not that at all. It's very much a light PG-13 kind of fare.
Nice. That's what I think we need more of that, because I back a lot of indie comics. And mine are usually around the same like hard R, like your Frankenstein, like my book, Path of the Pale Rider. That's kind of where I gravitate. But my kids are like, "What are you reading?" And I'm like, "Nope, can't read this one." But I have a couple that they can read and they love it. So
kids love comics. We need to be more comics. Like comics up until like the turn of the century, no matter how like mature they were still very juvenile and made for children. Like, and especially with mainstream comics, we've gotten away from having like, I don't know, the latest issue of Batman be for everybody. It's for like 40-year-olds now, and that's kind of unfortunate. So I think it's very important to have comics that kids can just pick up and read and not feel talked down to, and to just be able to enjoy it at their level. Or at a level where they want to be, and they're and that kind of makes them want to go experience other media. Like I would love if Mechaton got some kid into Gundam or whatever, and Gundam's a little few steps up the maturity ladder. So I love the idea of kids just reading comics for them and then finding comics that are very not for them that they have to hide from their parents. That would make my day. Yes.
You're like, because that was me. That was me.
Yeah. Like, don't tell your parents.
Me, but, like, that's just part of coming of age, right? Where it's like, I want to read this. Yeah.
Sometimes when we're at conventions, sometimes I'm at conventions and I'll just slip a kid like Frankenstein, be like, don't tell your folks. Here's Frankenstein. I'm like, I think I can trust you. You're not a narc. You're good.
That's funny. Let me pull this in here. Here's the Kickstarter, everybody. Let me drop the link. I love these short links. I need to start using mine too, the short links, because Path of the Pale Rider is already such a long name. And then you start adding all the Kickstarter, nonsense after that in the link, and it's like a 3-page link. So here is Mechaton 1 through 5, a rule of cool comic with mechs and kaiju. A slacker, an artist, and a witch discover an alien glove that turns anything it punches into a pilotable mech. The full first arc. So this is cool. So you've already done books 1 through 4?
We've done 1 through 3. We're actually in the process. Okay. This Kickstarter is specifically to fund 4 and 5, but you can get all 5 issues on this campaign if you're jumping in for the first time.
Great. I mean, everybody, when they are new to the story, they're always looking for that catch-up tier. And I know Pops is watching and he approves because he loves that catch-up tier. It's honestly never been a better time to jump into Mechaton because it's like 108 pages now of all the content that we have available for Mechaton. So you'll have a big chunk of story to really sit through. That's cool. And I love that too, where it's like, ooh, I don't have to, like, how many of us are reading, Game of Thrones, where we got to the last one and we're like, next book's a coming, and we're still, 23 years later waiting for this next book that's, who knows when it's coming. So it's great when it's like, okay, it's 1 through 5 is the whole arc. You can back this one. You can get all 1 through 5, and you don't got to wait for 2 months, 4 months, 6 months for the next one to come out. That's a huge thing. Are you thinking about making like a trade paperback, put them all together?
We are. It's actually coming out through Scout Comics. We have a partnership with Scout. On March 29th, actually, issue number 1 of Mechaton is coming to comic shops all over the country. And thank
That's
you.
Huge, man.
Oh, we're very excited. But the way because it's through their YA imprint, Scoot, and the way that Scoot publishes their books, they'll do issue number 1, build a lot of hype, and then a little bit later they publish the collection of all 5 issues. So yes, the trade is coming later this year, collects all 5, but the Kickstarters are still the best way to get the floppies if you're more of a single issue kind of guy. You can get all the variant covers, every issue, the way you like it.
Right. Get all the good collector's items, all of that stuff, and then help support, the actual team. That's what I love about Kickstarters is that it's a direct relationship between the creators and the fans, where there isn't that kind of middleman. I love my publisher. You know what I mean? Like they're great, but it's people sometimes don't understand, what exactly they're doing. So if they're paying money to the publisher, how much does the creator actually see?
Right.
Stuff like that. So that's why I really like this, where it's like you get to interact directly with the writers, the artists, and everybody on a Kickstarter. And then a lot of times we're the ones that are fulfilling it. So we're, sending it with care and love directly to you.
Yes.
It's so cool. I just watched your video, but let's watch it again. Let's do it. Here we go.
Previously on Mechaton. Hex gave Derek enough time to use the Mechaton glove and defeat the irradiated superbug beta, Thoraxis. But the day was not yet won. Taken in by the local authorities, Derek was instructed by Chief Bolton to go home and attempt to stay under the radar as everyone tried to figure out what exactly was going on. After leaving the station, Derek, Leah, and Hex were stopped by Derek's former boss, Mr. Moore. His aim? to bring Derek into the Something Cheesy fold and promote their new, definitely radioactive glow-in-the-dark pizza. And look out! After seeing what little defensive power the world outside has, a third kaiju begins its ploy for ultimate destruction. Will Derek be able to protect his community from abomination? Will Leah be able to discover the secrets of the Mechaton glove? Will Hex learn to read backwards? Find out next week on this double-issue, 40-page episode of Mechaton number 4 and 5! In the Red, or How to Sell Out Without Catching a Break.
That ending was just perfect. I was like, oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, we were definitely pulling from like Toonami, Dragon Ball Z, previously on Dragon Ball Z. So we wanted to really kind of lean into that. And then Wells gave us that beautiful rendition of the theme song at the very end.
I was like, who did the voice for that? Because that was freaking funny. So, I'll make sure you tell him I appreciated that. I thought that was awesome. But here it is. This is awesome. So two issues. You guys are trying to reach, $8,000 is your goal. You're at 65%, so 5167, 184 backers, which is huge. That's awesome. So let's see if we can find you some more backers. So here is Mechaton. What is Mechaton? But look at some of this art, people. This is very reminiscent to me of 80s morning cartoons. I love just like I said, the color, these pops of green and purple next to each other. This is the glove, eh?
That is the glove, the titular glove. And our kaiju, actually.
The bugs? Yeah.
The bugs, yeah.
Did they all fall down from space together?
No, Leah's in a dump. She's an artist, so she's searching for materials for her next art project, and the glove falls into the dump where a lot of bugs are.
That's cool. All right, so walk me through what I'm looking at here.
Yeah,
so this is the standard cover for 4 and 5?
Yeah, those are from Fernando, our series artist, who always does our A covers.
Of course.
Yeah, he always brings such an energy to every single one of them. Like he's able to capture that that kind of old school cover mentality where it's like, here is what is actually like inside the book. It's not just a pinup. It's we're telling a story with the cover to also get you to buy the book. Like he's always great about that. But we have a ton of variant covers and a ton of Kickstarter exclusive right here. These covers from Ila Gonzalez and Lane Lloyd are only going to be on the campaign. We're not going to be printing more and selling them at conventions. You can only get them through the campaign. And Ila gave us a great Pride cover for Leah and Hex, and Lane Lloyd gave us a great homage cover to the original, I think it's 87 Transformers film. Took the movie poster and made a bunch of everything in the kitchen sink, as we say, because there's literally a kitchen sink robot in there.
That's
for
hilarious.
our homage cover. Yeah.
It has like kind of a Cuphead feel to it too. It's the colors. It's
a little bit. Yeah. It's got that Lane Lloyd's style is it's got that it does have that kind of vintage pulpy newsprint kind of a feel to the art. It's great.
It's great. Yeah.
And
I love that you name your issues. I do that as well. Sometimes it's just like, so-and-so issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. And mine is like issue 1, Into the Wild, issue 2, Welcome to Santa Claus. And I love that you do the same thing here with Mechaton in the red.
Yeah, our titles are actually, we spend a lot of time figuring out what the titles are. Not so much the main titles, because we have a very consistent theme with the titles. Like issue 1 was Ignition, issue 4 here is In the Red, and then we have finished. They're all a bunch of like racing mechanical terms. Those aren't too difficult. It's the subtitles that we kind of fight about. Like issue 4's subtitle is How to Sell Out Without Catching a Break. Issue 1's subtitle is or How to Properly Punch a Giant Insect in the Face. Like we find a lot of the, I don't even know why we started doing it. It was in the very first edition of the script, and it just stuck. And we've had ridiculously long subtitles ever since, and those take a little bit, like realizing this is only the first leg of a pentathlon. Like,
but it's like it's a shtick, you know what I mean?
It's a shtick now. Yeah.
You have to keep doing it. Because it is funny. Realizing this is only the first leg of the pentathlon is hilarious.
Yep.
Like, even though it's called the finish line, so it's like it's an oxymoron kind of.
Yeah, we the world really opens up in issue number 5. So like everything just gets bigger, and they realize they're way in over their head.
That's cool. So we're gonna get a continuation.
Oh, for sure. This is only arc 1.
Yeah. So this is like first arc, first season on Netflix.
More or less, sure, yeah. But here's the Mechaton Mark III, the house mech I was mentioning. Fernando just brought the bay windows and that chimney cannon right there, like the way it's situated. That's all Fernando. We just said, and then the house becomes a robot, and he's able to just make it work like that. That looks like an action figure. It looks great.
It does. 100% looks like a transformer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Oh, and I love the little touch where this character is wearing an Atari shirt, because that's funny.
A tappy, actually. We had to change it for publication. It's a tappy.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I didn't think about that. Trademark.
And actually, that page with the Mark III on it was actually adopted as part of one of our Adopt-A-Page tiers. Throughout all of our campaigns, we have adopted pages because Fernando works digitally, so we don't have the actual Bristol board that you can buy. So basically, for the price of the art, you can own a page of Mechaton. We dedicate it to you in the book, and then we send you like a one-of-a-kind 11x17 print of the page that you can display in home or office or school or funeral home, whichever one kind of floats your boat.
Funeral home.
Yeah, I don't tell you how to run your business, man. Like, if you want to put Mechaton up, you go for it.
Alton and we're gonna clip that and we're gonna post it. I'm not gonna tell you how to run your business. You want it in your funeral home? That's cool.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, again, with just the contrast, and like your colors is fabulous. The orange versus the green. Your letterer too. Like, this is just, it's great, you know?
Yeah. We work with Nathan on a good number of basically all of our projects. We've worked with Nathan, our letterer, on, and he brings something completely different to Mechaton that he does for Frankenstein, especially with the way a lot of the kaiju have like unique, not only like speech bubbles, but like he'll put like almost a QR code looking static in one of their speech bubbles because it's so inhuman. And then the way he does the Mechaton lettering, like the dude just knows what he's doing and always delivers. It's so great.
Yeah, like this is beautiful. For sure. Look at this page. Let's sweep
That's
this
the
up.
chimney king.
I love it.
Well, it's full of puns. Mechaton is full of puns, and Leah hates all of them.
That's what makes it more funny.
I think so. People never appreciate my puns.
Issue number 4. Okay, so this is some of the new pages.
Yes, issue 4 is in the process of being colored and lettered right now, and then issue 5, all the line art for number 5 is done as well. So the turnaround on these, we're hoping, is going to be not too bad at all.
Hopefully, knock on wood. Because once you get to print, we'll see. I don't know what happened with every single printer that I'm familiar with is behind or having issues or being blocked.
I believe it.
It's been fun. I use it term loosely. Who's calling? Is that grandma?
That's their mom.
Okay.
They've been ignoring all because they're in a giant mech on TV, so their mom has questions and she's been calling and they've been ignoring because they don't want to deal with that. And now in issue 4, we finally we get an angry call from a mom.
It's like getting a howler in Harry Potter where they're like,
yeah, that's exactly it. Yes.
Blowing her hair back. It's amazing.
Yeah, and then we have the ink, some inked pages from number 5 as well.
Because why not, people?
Yeah, I mean, like, you want to know what's going on in the issue.
Of course.
Little taste.
I want to see a hint. Show me what's going
Yeah.
on. Give me a hint. Uh-oh, someone's whoop,
Yeah,
wait, in the hospital?
Leah gets a little laid up. Yep.
Ooh. Have to read to find out, people. All right, so here we are to reward tiers. I love when people do these graphics. I've been working on mine because it's like these are fun to read and like you have to scroll through these anyway. But to see these like visual representations, that's what it's really about, man.
Yes.
To see that personal style pop out. So this is cool. Digital copies, $10 for 2.
10 for 2, yeah. And then our physical as well. And you can get, so the physical copies but they have 2 covers a piece to choose from. So you have the A covers from Fernando, and then you have a B cover for number 4 by Alex Moore, who did like a Super Metroid variant. And then the B cover for number 5 is from Fred Stressing, who did a Fantastic Four number 1 variant homage. So when you select your physical copies, you have a choice between Fernando's cover or the variants. Or if you're wanting the big collector's tier, you can get all the covers.
Yeah, I lived through some of these are insanely cheap, you guys. I mean, like this digital catch up, it's 5 issues for $18. Usually you get a digital for 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 is what you usually would pay for this. And $18, that's great to like
want as many people to check it out as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Physical catch up is only $30. That's like price of 2 comics. Getting it all 5.
And plus all the digital copies as well.
Standard or variant. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And then of course our campaign exclusives we touched on. And those come with digital copies as well. But the collector's tier is where if you just can't choose, you can get all 6 covers for the campaign in the collector's tier. And I have a problem with choosing, so.
I do too, especially in my own copy. I just get all the things. It's like, oh, I can't. All right, just push button, add to cart.
Yep, there you go. Well, then collector's catch-up is great because we offer every single cover for every single issue of Mechaton as well.
Wow. Holy moly. How many physical copies are they getting with that?
11 physical copies.
Oh my God.
Along with the digitals, yeah. So you'll be getting 11 comics. Issue number 1's the only one that didn't have a variant cover. So everybody else gets a nice variant. And there's always an homage or 2 in each set of variant covers as well. So all you eagle-eyed readers.
Absolutely. I love those eagle-eyed readers. I write for them. All right, iridescent foil covers. These are so cool.
Yeah, I haven't gotten my comps for number 3 yet, but I do have the iridescent cover for Mechaton number 2 still in stock. So every campaign we offer the foil cover. It's super shiny and it's super cool, but it also offers a different print job from the standard edition. The standard comics are on more of a matte paper. So the colors pop, but it's more muted than the shiny cover, which is printed on a glossier finish. And so like Meg's colors really just like shoot out of the page at you. So it is a different reading experience. And we also offer the Kickstarter exclusive covers along with that.
Dude, this green one in foil is going to be so amazing. I'm
so excited.
This one for sure.
It's not indicative of final product. It's hard to tell what it's going to look like on like a computer screen. So we did the best mock-up we could, but I'm very excited to see what that cover is going to look like shiny.
Yeah.
And then here's your everything tier that you can just add it to cart, like you said. We've got stickers, prints, annotated scripts, all sorts of stuff.
$125 for everything is really not a lot, considering you have 5 issues out with a bunch of variants, stickers, annotated scripts, name recognition. You get extra prints. What size are the prints?
Those are 11 by 17.
Oh my God. I mean, like, I'm thinking like, oh, add a 4x6 or a 5x7. You're like, no, we're going to go big.
Oh, you got it. It's giant robots and kaiju. You got to go big.
This is true. They look much cooler on a giant 11 by 17.
Except those stickers. Those stickers are small.
Well, yeah. I mean, oh my
There's-
God! If you want an 11 by 17 sticker, people, where would you
that
put
would
them?
that
On
would
your
be
car?
cool. They used to make those wall sticky guys that were like the size of you that you could just
Yeah.
put up on your wall. I forget those wall peels. I don't know. We should do that.
They were like fathead.
Fatheads. That's what they were. Yes.
Yeah.
And then our adopt a page tier that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, this is super cool. I haven't seen that before. Because we're the same way. All of our art is digital. So people that are looking for like, I want the pencils, and it's like, well, there aren't any, you know. So what do you do? So this is the answer to that. That's really smart.
Yeah, we also wanted to kind of like, it's a way for the reader to kind of be a part of the book, because it's not just getting a page, you're also getting like your name in the book on the page you adopted, and it's so not only are we kind of giving back to them, but they're contributing to kind of the quote unquote lore of the book itself. Like it's all give and take there. And then of course commissions from Fernando, who if you've seen the art, you'd be crazy not to get a commission.
This way and it wasn't letting me. Hold on. That was like, it's going way out of control. Here we go.
Yeah, so we got that commission right there.
Actually go towards Fernando, correct? And then the remainder will go towards the Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah. So that will come physically, the commission, and then you get the iridescent covers, and you get the Kickstarter exclusive covers as well as a part of this package.
Dude, $250 is like cheap for that. It's like you can pay that in one commission.
Yeah.
But you get comics too. That's amazing.
Yeah. We're doing our best to make sure everyone can find something in their price range that kind of speaks to them about Mechaton. Yeah.
Want even more kaiju?
Yeah, we teamed up with a fellow creator, Edgar Paston, to every single backer on the campaign. We hit our $4,000 midpoint goal, so everyone gets digital copies of Amerikaiju issues 1 through 3. So it was a great little cross promotion there. If you want more kaiju, you're getting more kaiju for free. It was a great to get to team up with Edgar and I don't know, give you more monsters.
I mean, you could spend $10, or wait, let me do that. Yeah, you could spend as little as $10 to get digital copies of 4 and 5. And actually for $10, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comics.
5 comics. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Can't even get that at a comic shop anymore.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, wow, you guys, that's amazing. You really care and you want people to read stuff, you know, because it's, you know, you're priced so that people can participate and enjoy it. It's like, that's the way
Kickstarter's about raising funds, but it's never about the money. Like, I just want people to like experience the book and have fun with it. And so, yeah,
I think we're all that way. It's like we're Kickstartering so that way we can pay for things, but we really want you to enjoy the book. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, Kickstarter's just a way for us to continue to make stories. It's not,
right, exactly.
It's not about retire. I'm not going to retire from Kickstarter, guys. Don't worry about it.
None of us are going to retire. We're all spending money out of pocket. That's what's happening. And the Kickstarter kind of relieves some of that, which is great. Yeah, unless you're Polito. Right. So here's the two
B covers. Variant covers, yeah. So yeah, you'll get a choice between A or B whenever you choose your physical edition, unless you're grabbing all of them, which highly encourage all of them. 6 whole covers, guys. Come on.
Do we have add-ons? Boy, do we! There's a list of things you can get with your copy. I love it. It's like just the tone behind it is awesome. The name on the thank you page is really cool. Stickers depicting Megaton Mark 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the hot dog cart we made a sticker for, and then our very first kaiju Dihedapod. So if you really like those designs, you want to stick them on a laptop, go for it.
I really would like to see the hot dog cart as a
we need it as a fathead.
Does it shoot hot dogs in bun? Because
What's that?
I said, does it shoot hot dogs?
It might. There is a funny part in issue 2 where Derek can't figure out how to get the mech off, so he's like, "Hot dog, please," and then the mech just like presents him a hot dog. Well, maybe there's a hot dog launcher in there. We never actually get to see it, unfortunately. We get the umbrella.
We get, like shoot hot dogs,
eh? we do get condiment blasters, so you'll get your ketchup and your mustard mazers and things like that. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, so it looks like you can add on a ton of stuff here. So that's really cool because people can kind of customize their rewards. So it's like if you just want the digital, but you want an 11 by 17, it looks like you can add one of those.
Yeah.
You can add on all the issues and variant covers. So it's like, I can't afford to do all of them, but I can do this one. But I really like this variant. You could add that on, people. That's amazing.
And then you can grab other books that we've worked on, like Frankenstein or Descent into Dread, or some why am I blanking? Anthologies that we've been a part of are also included as add-ons. If you're crazy enough to like what we do, then there's more.
Yeah, then you can explore some of the other things you guys do, which is really cool. Oh man, what's this?
So that is one of the prints from Serge Acuna, who we worked with on our horror anthology, Descent into Dread, and we were actually able to get a really awesome print by him that's more in a crazy, super hyper anime style, more or less. Kind of like the original idea behind the book was like this super intense anime kind of style, and when we brought Fernando on, it has more of a energetic Scott Pilgrim kind of style.
I see.
So Serge kind of takes that original idea and puts it in this great standoff print. But not only are we offering it as that 11 by 17 standard print, but as a 5 by 7 metal print as well.
Yes.
So it's a super all the shine on that hot dog card will come through on that print.
Oh, it's going to be so cool.
That's
why I was like, oh, it's a metal print.
Yes.
I was like, oh. Here we are. Who would love Mechaton? People who like Scott Pilgrim, Murder Falcon, Ultraman, the fun, vibrant, rule of cool feel of comics like Witch Blood, Arcane Cocktail Enthusiasts, and By the Horns. Those are great. And, nostalgia for Godzilla. Like, who hasn't seen a Godzilla movie? Because if you haven't, go fix that right now. Transformers, Voltron. Oh, yeah. Late Night Toonami. All of that good stuff. Yeah. And it looks like you have a diverse cast. And it's very inclusive. So that's really nice. People can see themselves as a character in your story. Fans of shonen, superheroes, video game, sleek, all sorts of cool stuff. And hopefully
all the buzzwords. Just
right. Here's Wells. He looks like he's posing for I don't know, what was those? Remember in the 90s where people would go to those? It was in the mall.
Oh, the mall photos? Shot. Oh, I'm gonna have to tell Wells that. It's like, oh, dude, it's your mall photo shoot. It's great.
It's your glamour shots photo shoot, dude.
Yeah, it's your senior snapshot. Serious. It's great. Yeah,
it's great. Is it going like the dust cover inside of his books?
If he had any, I'm sure there would be. Yeah.
Novels.
He's written them. I didn't say he published them.
Oh, well, fix that. And Wells, you need to put this on the inside of like in black and white, sir.
Of course, yeah. No,
it's extra.
It's way too serious to just leave alone on a Kickstarter page. Yeah.
And then here's you.
Yes.
Please explain.
It's a colander. Well, yep. I get very uncomfortable with photos and like posing like serious artist photographs. So I was like, I'm just gonna put a silly picture. And now it's kind of that photo comes from college. We were shooting a a comic idea I originally had got turned into a web series where like all the gods are like in high school together, and so I was on screen for a little bit as the flying spaghetti monster, and so
I was going to ask if it had something to do with Spaghetti Monster. Yes,
it did. So I was him in a little cameo in the series, and that's where the picture comes from, and I just turned that into the artist photo, and now it's like on the website, it's on the business cards, it's the brand now, it's on all the socials, so it's the brand now.
That's awesome. Are you currently in Wisconsin?
I am, yes, in Green Bay, under like 2,000 feet of snow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say,
did
you get hit with the storm? You did.
Yeah, yes we did.
Yeah. But I like how you put like where he slaves away working for the corporate man, enjoying his little cartoons. That's how we all feel, dude.
Yes.
that's in every single one of our bios.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. This is
That's
amazing.
Fernando.
Look at this picture.
Yeah, Fernando's cool. I wish I was as cool as Fernando. He's in a punk band too. He's got sleeves full of like awesome Joe Mad art. Like dude's just cool. And I have a stupid colander on my head.
He's like living his best life. That's so fun.
Yeah.
He's from Chile. All right.
Yes. Yeah. He actually is a professor down there who teaches art. So,
this guy's a professor.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah,
like I said, I wish I was this cool.
I want to be this cool. You tell him I said I want to be cool like Fernando. and then Megan Casey. We haven't said her name, but I want to follow her work, man. This is amazing color. Look at it.
Meg's great, and apparently went the same route I did with a little caricature. But no, Meg's colors, like I love Fernando's line art, and I would love a big artist edition, like a big mecha version of the black and white line art of his stuff. But Meg's colors really make the book sing. Yes. Like it that's like that nice little touch on there that finishes the art. There's no. Sorry, my phone decided to start ringing. I'm at work. What are you talking about? Why is my phone ringing? But no, her colors are great.
This is just this little image right here is amazing, and it kind of gives people a feel of what she can do. And like I said, I think for me, the art is wonderful in your comic, but the color just pops. It's just what catches my attention. So it's just amazing. My hat off to Meg. Nathan.
And there's Nathan. Final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Nathan's great to work with. Very, very amicable. And just does whatever we need, or whatever we don't even know we need. He's like, oh, here it is. Boom.
That's funny. But look, people, he's worked for DC, Marvel, Image, and more. That's quite a claim to fame.
He's worked for all. Nathan's a workhorse. Like a lot. You could probably look through a lot of the indie scene, and I bet you Nathan's attached in some form or fashion.
Right.
Yeah.
He just he's one of those like, I will do it.
Yeah, that's great.
Be on this? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, people, this is so important to have on a Kickstarter campaign. Where is the money going? And the short answer, of course, it's going into the comic, but I love the pie chart. I have one on mine as well, where it's like, give people a visual of where the budget is going. And yes, people, this is accurate. 65% of that money goes right to art production. Between covers or interior, all of those people need to eat. We need to support them and make sure that they are happy. Because they're worth what they're getting paid, right? And of course, we have print charges, shipping, Kickstarter fees, processing fees, taxes, etc. So that's pretty standard. There's nothing about this that should be a surprise to anybody who is either independent or a supporter. This is pretty much the same for everybody.
Transparency is so key to Kickstarters.
I'm sorry, say again.
Transparency is like the most important thing when it comes to crowdfunding. Like every step of the way. You're trusting people to support something that isn't even real yet. So making sure that they're kept abreast of every facet of the process is super important.
Absolutely.
We try our best to make sure in all of our updates and things to just make sure you're in on the know.
Mm-hmm. Estimated timeline. Of course, the campaign ends in like 8 days, people. So don't walk, run to back this thing. The art completion will be in June. Of course, when the art completion, the digital rewards will be in June, and then it will go to print. Physical rewards, yeah, it takes about a month. Unless you're like me and it takes 2 months because crap happens. You're doing international shipping. Bravo. Sent in July. Arrival dependent on the post office and VAT tax and all of that fun stuff. So God bless you on that. That's a whole headache to take on for international shipping.
Yeah, international shipping is so, and we kind of go into detail right underneath, but like it can be super expensive to do international shipping as well. So to like and it's a little ridiculous if like you're paying like $10 for a comic book and then you're spending like 15 on shipping. So we give you a signed copy for free and an extra copy of the Kickstarter exclusive cover as well for if you're doing international shipping.
Ooh, hi Rob Wilson Arts. How are you? Oh yes, he likes your chart.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, to the chart. He agrees. Rob Wilson Arts, we agree. The charts are necessary, right? It's the other thing about international shipping. I don't know if people understand this. It's hard to predict. Because here we are in March, but when we get to July, when you have your physical books and you're going to ship them, the rates could all be different.
Oh yeah.
So that's the fun part, people.
It's what the title says, extortion. Yep.
Right. So those international shipping rates are extortion. Also, people, I love that you include that you're going to bag and board comics, ship them in a Gemini mailer, which is great. People, you're not going to get this in like a... Do you love those? You ever get a Kickstarter comic that's in like one of those bubble envelopes and you're like, what were you thinking, people? Like,
yeah.
You usually don't nowadays, but every now and again one will show up and you'll be like, no.
You can't skimp on the shipping. You gotta make sure that book's protected. Like I'm the kind of guy who doesn't care what shape his books are in as long as I can read it. But some people, most people love having the crisp copy or they're not going to read it and they spend all this money on a book that came to them looking like it's got scoliosis. Like it's not going to work.
Corners are all destroyed or like has water damage because you didn't bag it and it rained while they were delivering it, and the Gemini mailer is not waterproof, but the bag is, so it's nice to put it on the Kickstarter because we know what we're doing, but the people don't know what we're doing. Right. Yeah. So it's always good to remind people, like, we're taking this extra step to make sure that you get your stuff in good shape, And I like that you put too, like, we will try and include everything in one package so you don't have to do for your add-ons. Right. I think the 11, how are you going to do your 11 by 17s? Are you going to tube those or?
Very carefully.
Yeah?
Wells actually handles a lot of the fulfillment. We live in 2 separate places on the map. So a lot of the time he handles it. I have not been made privy how the prints get shipped, but they have always arrived in good condition. I'm assuming they get tubed and then they're part of a larger package. But that would be a question for Wells on his fulfillment end.
Curious because this is the first time I'm going to be including 11 by 17s in my next Kickstarter, and I was planning on tubing them, but that would be also that would be a separate ship from everything else. So if there's a way to ship it all together, I'm interested.
I know there is. We've done it before. I've never done the fulfillment side because Wells always ships them to his house. So
gotcha. I'll have to look into that. People, if you have ideas of how to ship an 11 by 7.
And I can always reach out and we can shoot you an email once we figure out how Wells does it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to ship a tube today. I had one of my fans had a custom page sent, created and sent. So that's going out today. So I'm excited that he gets those.
Yes.
We talked about that. Hey, what about printing? You decided to print all of your comics with Comics Wellspring. They've consistently given you the best service and quality of the many printers that we've sampled and worked with. That's great. So, printing in the USA is important to me as well. I try to support, if I can, local. I've used Comic Wellsprings in the past, and I've had a great experience. So 100%. I love that you put this on here so people know what to expect as well. Comics Wellspring is actually from a town I'm familiar with in Michigan. Originally from Michigan. They're from Royal Oak. There's one there too. So
yeah,
stickers.
No, they've always done well by us.
Yeah. Using local printers in Chicago, supported by Ink Studios. So this is really cool. I love that you just, give everybody all the information. That Ink Studios is proud of Mechaton, is part of their family, and they've been marketing for over 100 successful crowdfunding Kickstarters, kick it production or product for campaigns for new creators. So it looks like there's a lot of marketing and resources for people as well. So I like that you share those, because as newer creators are looking at other Kickstarters, maybe for inspiration, and can come across this and be like, oh, I didn't know how to do this.
Yeah, steal shamelessly, man. Do it.
Yeah.
All the best
Learn from
artists
other people's
steal.
Success and mistakes, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. When we jumped in, we had no idea what we were doing, and so we stole shamelessly. We're like, oh, that seems to be working. Let's try that out. And and then eventually you find your own way of doing things.
Yeah, I've actually just partnered with a group called Global Indie Group, and that's what they do as well. It's a bunch of indie creators, from writers, artists, publishers. There's podcasters. I'm on there as a writer and a podcaster, and you just basically put your information and you're each other's. You're there as like a support system for everybody on there. So if I needed help, like I needed a new editor, maybe my editor's not available for the time that I need her, like I could go pull from there. Look, you can ask questions. They also have illustration, and they have like production, which is great for like animation and like commercials and stuff. So it's a really cool place. I highly recommend checking it out. The initials it goes by is GIG. You'll see it in like a comic bubble, but it's just globalindiegroup.com. And you can go kind of walk around there and see. But it's great for someone that's, again, new to the scene, doesn't know what to do or like how to market. There's a whole podcaster section. I think they are actually putting together tutorials as well, like how to create a Kickstarter, stuff like that.
That's really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Risks and challenges. I mean, we all do this, but of course it's like we complete as much as you can. You've already completed issue 4 and you're working on 5. So turnaround time in this will be super quick.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Having worked on, to complete 4 of these campaigns already, you guys want the turnaround to be seamless as possible. However, there's always stuff that can happen, of course. We don't want to talk any of them into existence, but things can always happen. We are all human, right? So there could be sickness, complications, delays, unseen problems, shipping errors, lost or damaged. And it's just, unfortunately, we can't control every aspect.
Can't predict everything.
Right.
Yeah. You can only pivot when you need to.
Right. And of course, communication is the key. And I can tell just from your Kickstarter that you guys are very good at communication to make sure your backers are in the loop about everything that's going on. So that's the way to go. And there we are to the end of this page. So beautiful page.
Go back Mechaton.
Yeah, absolutely, people. Go check this out. Walk around. Look at all the cool art. I mean, just amazing samples here. The completed pages, these are just so cool. And they got a ton of super affordable tiers. Like, honestly, I'm surprised they're not more. For everything that's included, I was like, wow. Lots of options still available. And only 8 days. So let's get there and let's get them funded, man. Get them across.
Yeah, it's the end of the arc. You got to see how it ends.
What's that?
It's the end of the arc. You got to see how it ends.
I know. That's the thing, is like, if you just need the next, you know what I mean? It's like you always need that next issue. Like, I need the next issue.
Get you on the drip feed.
These are all gone. These are your early birds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Oh,
the
that's
first
right, they were
72
on
hours
sale.
usually. Yes. Yeah, we do
Cool.
a big. So yeah, so that's why it's always super important to click the notify me on launch button when a new
Yes.
campaign is about to start up, because you may end up missing out on some really cool stuff.
Right. I was just talking about that. Like, I know for sure people love the Funko Pops that we do. And we're making and another fan favorite is this undead bear named Big James. People just love him. And this is the Kickstarter to get him. There's only going to be 5. So
Oh man.
I was like, if you don't show up in the beginning, you're not going to get one. These are so neat. All right. Let's go, people. Back this project. I'm going to go shopping when I'm done. So,
Rock on.
Oh, everybody stretch.
Yeah. It's the 7th inning stretch.
It's we're about an hour and 25 minutes in, so it's like, it's a 9th inning stretch.
Yeah.
Oh. So where does the story go? I know you had mentioned like there'll be a continuation. The world kind of opens up. Have you written past these 5?
We have outlined past the 5, yes.
Gotcha.
So we have about 15 issues or so planned out for three separate arcs. Our second arc is where a lot of stuff really starts hitting the fan. Up until now, we've been dealing with a lot of more local problems. I know it doesn't seem like it, but the kaiju up till now have been like small potatoes. Well, thank you, Rob.
Absolutely.
So at the end of 5, like the doors really get blown open and the world expands in a way that Derek and Leah and Hex were not prepared for at all, and are way in over their head. We also end up introducing the last member of our central cast, and the robots just keep getting bigger and wilder as well. Like it continues to just go bigger and bigger and bigger. And by the time we get to the 3rd arc, to the last few issues, like it's not even going to be able to fit on the planet anymore. It's wild.
No. Ooh, we're going to be going off planet.
Cosmic, baby.
Space. Awesome. Looking forward to space. Space kaiju. Ooh.
I mean, Space Godzilla is pretty cool. So, like, it proves that space kaiju are some of the best kaiju.
Yeah, is this where you're going to be like, they fight God? In space.
Not a bad idea. That might be arc 5. if we do more arcs, if we do more Mechaton after the big finale, maybe they fight God. That would be pretty cool.
Or like kaiju eats the sun.
Yeah, a big sun eater. That'd be pretty cool. There's lots. There are definitely like Lich-Pin set pieces that we are building towards. But a lot of it is still kind of, it's nebulous until we get the script in. So especially in the second arc, or that big middle chapter, we kind of know like what the tent poles we want to hit, but a lot of it is going to be like the relationships. Like we start to finally see Derek and Leah's relationship start to kind of crack a little. We get to see them kind of at each other's throats a little bit more than usual. And players that are really outside of their control start really butting their heads in and disrupting a lot of the normalcy that, because all Derek wants to do is go into the basement and play video games. He doesn't want any of this, and they keep making him go do other things, and it eventually hits a boiling point. And by the time we get to the end of the second arc, we're in a very different place than when the series started.
Interesting. I can't wait to see what happens. That'll be exciting. Any plans to like have it animated or pitch it or anything like that? Switch mediums?
If you know a guy, if you know a suit with a lot of money, let's pitch it. Yeah.
I mean, people Kickstarter from not just comics, they Kickstarter short films and animation as well.
I have enough trouble making comic books. I couldn't imagine trying to make something animated. Like, I would love to see Mechaton as a car. It's almost built for a cartoon, more or less, like or action figures or thing. I would love to see that, but I'm a comic guy first and foremost. Like, if it never got adapted, that's fine because it was made the way it was supposed to be made. But if Netflix wants to bite, if somebody wants to bite, like, come on, I'll let you. let's work on Mechaton.
I know that's kind of like my approach to it as well. Like, I would love to see it in either animated or live action, but if it never happens, I'm okay because people are still following the story. It's about that. It's about, readers being able to enjoy the story. But
let's go the opposite direction. Let's make a radio drama. Those are a little easier to make. Yeah.
Do that. Like, I'm thinking about doing that too. So the way that my comic book works, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about my comic, but like, we have comics and then we do short films and then we do riddles. And one of the things I'm toying with the idea is having a 6-episode podcast where it's just like an old radio show, like cop drama and kind of a comedy, but it's dark. So I don't know. It's like
nobody does radio dramas anymore. Yeah.
What's that?
Nobody does radio dramas anymore, so it's a lost art in a sense. So do the radio dramas. Yeah.
Let's bring it back, man.
I know Marvel and DC have been trying lately with their little audio adventures or whatever, but
really,
I don't know. Yeah, there's Batman: The Audio Adventures, which is like a narrative podcast. I think they released on Spotify, and I think Wolverine had one a year or two ago, where it was a radio drama, more or less. I don't know how well they did. They are adapting them into comic books now, but
of course.
But yeah, they've been trying it. I just don't know how successful they've been.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I'm not big into the Spotify scene. Like, I enjoy Spotify, but I definitely don't have enough time to just sit and listen.
Sure.
As much as I would like to. But
I've never gave them a listen. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm like cleaning, but it's like I have small children, so they're always like, "Man," and so it's like, you always have to take care of that. So plus, I want to hear what they're up to because if it's quiet, it's like, oh God.
Yeah, what's going on? Oh,
where
boy.
are we going? Like, are you sneaking candy? In the back.
The answer's yes. The answer's always yes. Yeah.
Like, get out of there. But that's kids for you.
But
that would be cool to see it like as a Saturday morning cartoon.
I would love action figures of Fernando's robots. Like, that's what I want.
Cool.
I want a line of Mechatons. That'd be great. Or the glove. That'd be cool.
You could 3D print that, man.
We could. We don't have any money. But yeah, we've toyed with the idea of making little figures and things, but the cost has always been a little prohibitive for us as of right now.
I mean, it's like the focus is on the book, and that's one thing. Like, I interviewed this wonderful lady named Madeline Holly Rosing, and she's kickstarting right now, and she's 10 years into this journey that we're both on. And she's, there's a lot more money than I typically do.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, seeing where you are and where I am, what's your best advice, to bridge that gap? I'm like, because obviously where you are is where I want to be. And she was like, well, she's like, sleep.
Yes.
She's like, exercise. And she's like, understand that it's going to take time to get here. It's not going to happen tomorrow. And she's like, and the fourth thing, don't spend all your money on merch. And I was like, ooh, I just did that, like,
yeah.
She was like, don't do it. It's tempting to get all the things, you know what I mean? All of the cool things that you can get. But she's like, really, it's about the story. And that's what people should be backing in your Kickstarter, is it eats up a lot of money to then go purchase a ton of merch when you could be spending that developing your story or, something else, supporting an artist. And I was like,
sometimes it can feel like if there's so much merch on a campaign that they might be overcompensating for something. And at least I get that vibe when I'm perusing Kickstarter. And the more tiers I see with the more stuff, the less likely I am to really back. I want the comic, and if there is like, I don't know, a T-shirt that seems cool or a variant cover that seems cool, then I might bite on those. But you're not. I'm never ever going to be spending money on like a line of action figures that aren't even printed yet, you know? Like it can be, there is a point where it's too much on a campaign, and you just need to focus on the book.
I think that a lot of times creators have a problem consolidating, because I can get overwhelmed too when I'm looking at a Kickstarter. I'm like, there's too many options. You know, I can't choose anything. I can't spend as much money as I want to get everything together, but I also can't get the things that I want in a single tier. But there's like 75 tiers. It's like, whoa, guys, you know, so you can get like that too. I try to keep mine as simple as possible, but still check off the buttons, you know. So it's like we usually have like T-shirts, like getting drawn into the comic. We like variant covers, but I stick to 4 at max. And we do the Funko Pops is the cool thing that we kind of do.
Yeah, like having that one elite tier, like those Funko Pops. That's good. Like you want to have that elite tier to give your most passionate backers that little extra something. But when every tier feels like an elite tier, it's like, okay, what are we doing here?
Right. What's going on? We're doing hot sauce this campaign too.
See, that's kind of cool. Hot sauce.
People wanted it. A buddy of mine, Chris Brown, was like, hey, I want to make some hot sauce. We usually do some spoof ones. You know, can I use the likeness of your characters on one? We'll call it Path of the Pale Sauce. And I was like, that sounds super cool. And I was like, as long as you send me like a couple samples, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So he made like a bunch, and I got a couple, and I posted it online, and people were like, how do I get this? And I was like, oh. It was like, well, all right, you can't have this one, it's mine. And they're like, well, make some, please. And I was like, okay. I was like, so we'll have hot sauce, and it has my undead bear on it, which is super funny. I just took it to a con to like show it off, so I don't have it in front of me. But they're really neat. And they're actually, the sauce that he made is really good. So I'm like, can I have the recipe, please?
Oh, yeah. It's rare to get a hot sauce that tastes good and has good heat.
Yeah, this was like a barbecue style, but has habanero in it. So it has a bite to it, but it's not unbearable. It's not like the one chip challenge and you're crying. It's like you would put it in a Bloody Mary and enjoy it, you know? I
mean, okay, now you have to make a hot sauce with the bear on it called the Unbearable or something. Like,
so I have 2 different levels, like after the pale sauce and Unbearable, which is like super hot.
Yes, you can't have a bear mascot and not have that sauce.
Unbearable. I know there's so many ways you can go with naming this, so it's really funny. But so other than that, it's like books. I had a bunch of other add-ons, and I took them off because Madeline's right. It's like I could spend money on my books and, you know, supporting my artists and making sure that they have work, or I could buy tumblers and people can get stuff that they really don't need.
There's enough junk in everyone's house that I swear if my wife brings home one more coffee mug, like there's.
She loves them.
Yes, we're just running out of cupboard space. Like,
man.
It's it's also just finding what matches your book. Like it would feel disingenuous if I made a bunch of like Mechaton coffee mugs. Like it that feels really corporate in a way. Like, you know, you could go to what is that commercial Inked where they're like, well, put your business logo on things, and it's all corporate and nonsense. And Mechaton is very much not corporate. Like, you're not going to go to a luncheon with Mechaton logos everywhere. So so it would feel wrong. It feels better to have like stuff related to the story, like maybe in-universe things, or the prints, or maybe like an add-on story that would be really cool to fund. I know Frankenstein, we do since it is more mature, we do have like Not Safe for Work covers. We do, since it's more literary, or I'd say literary, since it's based on like Conan, who has literary roots, we do like, as stretch goals, we do like prose pieces in the back, little chapters of prose pieces as little add-ons to the story. So it really kind of depends campaign to campaign, book to book, what those tiers should be, but it should always be in service to the book, and the book shouldn't just be a farm that you kind of mine different kind of products out of.
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%. It should make sense. Like, you guys definitely need to find somebody that can 3D print stuff for you. Because that glove, you need one. Yeah. I'm not talking about mass producing for the Kickstarter, just for you. I think will be really cool. You know, for you and Wells to have one of those, or like to 3D print like the action figures would be really cool. It'd be like your own Transformer. And for us who are like 80s kids, I'm assuming you're an 80s kid.
90s kid.
Oh, I'm wrong.
I was 92.
I thought we were close, but man. I'm an 80s kid, so like grew up with those Transformers that you could like actually transform. That would be super cool if we could figure that out for your campaign.
Oh
like,
man, to get let's call Hasbro and we'll see how they feel about making a line of Mechatons. You start with the hot dog cart and it transforms into a mech. That'd be, I mean,
you don't need Hasbro. Just have one tinker it on Tinkercad.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Hasbro, you probably have to pay them to make like 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, in order to even place an order.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to make a transformer. That like I would just want like the finished. I would want the finished product. I just want the mech, but the transforming aspect is the cool part. So
that'd be cool. Yeah. I don't know, just really cool. Like things to dream about, right?
yeah. Maybe if our campaign starts bringing in tens of thousands, we can start thinking about it. But
10 years from now, why not?
Who knows? And then when Mechaton becomes vintage, that's when we can start pulling out all the cool merch.
10 years makes us vintage. Damn.
If my nephew has anything to say about it, then yes. Like
what?
Just a few years ago, he like somehow the Nintendo Wii came up, and he's like, "Ooh, the Wii vintage," and I'm like, "Boy, no." 2007 was not that long ago, but it was. Yeah.
But there's still like stuff from when I was a kid that's now in a museum, like Nokia phones and like the first iPod and like.
Yep. I've seen them too, and it hurts a
little.
little.
Rotary phones anymore. Like, what is this? How does this work? And it's like a cassette tape, and I'm like,
well, you don't need to. We have better ways of doing things now, so you don't have to know how to do it. But it's kitschy. It's fun. So now we need a Mechaton tape deck. Oh, now I'm just thinking of products.
You could totally rip off Transformer and have like a tape deck.
Although
like,
releasing
totally not this guy.
Releasing the radio drama on a cassette would be kind of fun. Oh, and see, when you do your radio drama, you need to release it on like a vinyl. That way, since it's a Western.
How hard that would be, but I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, vinyl pressings. I mean, I'm sure it's ridiculous, but
I was like, didn't we just say that neither one of us had any money?
No money. But a vinyl pressing of a radio drama set in the Old West would be pretty dope. Played on a phonograph. Yeah.
It's an Old West, but it isn't. Like, it's much more.
Well, it's apocalyptic, but it's got a Western vibe. So, okay.
It does. At least part of it does. Really, in the beginning, it does. Like, it's very Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider. They Call Me Trinity. Good.
We need more Westerns.
Django. All those.
We need more Western comics. We need more romance comics, and probably some more war comics. Those died in the '60s, and we need to bring them back.
Oh man, someone needs to write like, yeah, absolutely. Well, my buddy Paul Gomez writes one that's called PTSD, which is fabulous. But it's like after the war, but he has like he's like
I'm talking
it, right?
Yeah. I'm talking those Joe Kubert, Sergeant Rock, Like
Sergeant Rock, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike the Cat, I'm talking to you, sir. One of my buddies collects Sergeant Rock, and every time I go to a LCS and I'm like, hey, I'm Laurie, this is what I do. I'm always looking around. I'm like, Sergeant Rock, Mike. They have. He's like, I need it. Okay.
Yeah, all those Our Army at Wars and Our Fighting Forces, all those that Kuebert was doing career-defining work. Yeah, but we need more of those, and I'm seeing more westerns pop up every now and again. I would like to do a western. I love westerns.
TV like Yellowstone.
Yes, some western-inspired stuff. Yeah, but not as many western comics, and then nobody's doing romance books like that. That needs to come back.
Yeah,
hard.
they are. You just haven't seen them.
That's true, but there's romance, and then there's romance comics like what do they call it? Like friggin' Millie the Model or My Teenage Love or whatever Kirby was doing in the 50s, where it's very much like Archie kind of romance stuff. But I would love to see that stuff come back in a big bad way.
I wish I could do more of that stuff. I am just such action like martial arts, blood, guts, gore. Someone was like, what do you know, should we bring back The Notebook? And I was like, I don't know, I've never seen it. And they're like, you haven't seen The Notebook? And I was like, nope, I have no intention of seeing The Notebook ever. So when you're like, any more romance? And I was like, yeah, probably, but I wouldn't read it, but it's just not my thing. Give me The Raid, give me John Wick. Give me Breaking Bad, that kind of stuff.
It needs 100% more punching. Yeah.
More punching in this Notebook. Where's The Notebook?
Yeah.
Is it the one that he writes in and it's like, Death Note? Can we have that Notebook, please? That's a much more interesting notebook than this Notebook.
Yeah. I always say that, I love the classics. Jane Eyre is a great novel. Yes. It's important, but it definitely needed more giant robots in it. Like it was a little dry. Yeah, I could take or leave zombies, but the giant robots, that's where it's at. We've already had the zombie wave of the 2010s. We need more of a mech wave or a western wave or something.
They need to do it right, because I think like the first Pacific Rim was good, the second one was not.
Right.
But since then, I can't think of. I mean, they've done Godzilla, but that's not mech. You know what I mean?
Mecha Godzilla was in the last one, and that was dope. But
that was dope, actually. It was. But it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like
it's someone
in the mech and like controlling the thing and
they keep.
That would be really cool.
I think there's been a Gundam movie in development hell for like 30 years at this point, and they just need to bite the bullet and do a Gundam film. Like, that's that.
There's a market. Everything makes a circle.
Yeah, there's a whole untapped market of mecha fans that you're going to give birth to essentially when they see giant robots fighting things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's when Mechaton gets picked up as a TV show. There we go.
There you go.
Ride the wave.
That's what you got. But it's hard though. It's like you have to ride the wave 2 years before it comes out. That's the thing. Is because production time is going to be like, 3.5, 2 years. So they have to see the potential. They can't like a movie comes out because then 2 years later it's already the shark and now they're on something else like sparkly.
Yep. Hey, so
so that's the hard part. It's like see the potential now.
I would dig sparkly vampires and giant robots. Let's go for it. Yeah. You put
versus, yes, that would be.
Well, no, piloting. You put anyone in a giant mech, it'll be great. Like vampires and mechs.
Castlevania meets kaiju.
That would be so cool.
With a giant whip. There you go.
A mecha whip. Okay.
It writes itself.
I'm writing that down. Mecha whip. Where is that? Okay. They punch a BDSM store and they get a giant mecha whip.
Oh. Or the zoo. I don't know. You can
the zoo.
Circus?
Okay.
The circus. There would be so many cool things at the circus.
Yeah. Where'd all the animals go though? That's the tricky part.
The animals out of a cannon.
They're used to it. It's fine.
A cannon that shoots lions.
Oh no! Knowing our luck, it'd be shooting clowns.
Oh,
Clown
that
cannon.
would be so much better.
Yeah,
Are
and
you
it makes
kidding
a
me? Do it.
makes a honking noise. Be great. Yeah.
And like 17 fly out at the same time.
Oh yeah. No, it's one big. It's like a shotgun burst of clowns. Yeah.
Where it shoots the car out, and then the car hits, and then all the clowns come out.
That'd be pretty good. That's why we like working on Mechaton. It's endless possibilities of things to punch, and then we get to think of the cool weapons and stuff. So it's never boring to write. That's for sure.
That's cool. So much opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we never get written into a corner because we can always punch it out. Oh, thank you. I actually need to go check out your Pale Rider because I like westerns. So,
yeah, we're Western apocalypse where death has been broken, so your body can die, but your soul, your consciousness, it doesn't leave your body upon death. So people are them when they die, but they're rotting.
Interesting.
So you have this population that's like going crazy, going violent, getting forgetful, detached from everything. But it's like people, and then there's animals, insects. Nothing dies, right? So it's just things devolve back to the Wild West, and we're following this cowboy 10 years into the apocalypse because he's kind of like the last guy still looking for the answer of what happened.
Right.
That's one of my pet peeves. I really love zombie genre, but they're always like, virus happened. Well, it's like, why and how and who does it affect? And, what happened? Like, we're already in this, but we don't get to, like, tell me the backstory. So that's kind of what this is he's looking for the answer to try and put things back to the way they were if he can. So he has this journal of, like, conspiracy theories and, like, could be anything. It could be like rapture or a virus or government or a chemical. And he's like debunked them all. So now it's just like the crazy ones that are left.
Oh, okay. So Mothman then. Mothman caused the apocalypse. There we go.
Searching for the answer, and it's like way out there, right? But the dead don't die, so it really could be anything, right?
Yeah.
But there's like, we got saloon brawls, and we got the Western feel in the first couple, and then time jump. So then you get to see the fall, you get to experience like the chaos and like how things really fall apart. And I go into a lot of different aspects, like food supply and government involvement and ethical questions, like how long do the undead retain rights?
Oh, okay. No, yeah,
right? Because when you die now, you don't get to keep owning your house.
Right.
You don't get to vote. You can't own firearms, right? So what happens to these undead people who are still looking like themselves for maybe some time, but it's like, do
they're
they
just
immediately
clinically dead?
What's that?
They're just clinically dead. Yeah.
They're recently undead. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So they could be still functioning for maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
but it hits everybody differently. So it's like
new definitions.
You can be I have a character later on that's just a head. Like, it's fun. So,
does it talk?
It does.
Without the vocal cords?
Yep. Well, no, he's like neck up.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
So like they carry him around by his hair. It's funny. Things to look forward to, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that's my spiel, and I'm sure people are sick of me talking about it on my show, but but I love talking about it on other people's shows, and we're going to be starting Monday for issue number 3. So yeah, fun times. It's like,
are they
what?
Are they like full? Like, are they 20-page issues? Are they like graphic novels, or
it's 24 pages? It's a floppy.
24 pages.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
My first issue was black and white. Issue 2 is full color. We're going full color for issue 3, hopefully. As long as the people show up. And then we will go back and color issue number 1. And then that black and white copy is like collector's item at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on the page for issue number 1 now. That variant cover by Everett Watkins is really cool. That movie poster looking one. That's dope.
Everett Watkins does amazing variant covers. Like he's done one for me every single one, right? So he did like the cowboy with the smoking gun. Issue number 2, my character goes to this town called Santa Claus.
Yeah, a town called Santa Claus.
It's a real place in Arizona. Yeah, it's a ghost town now, but it's a real place. He goes to this town. So Everett did this like tree. It's a Christmas tree, and it's covered in zombie parts, and it has this big old banner that says "Welcome to Santa Claus." I was like, this is so cool because it's like it's gory, it's unwelcoming. It's just a good juxtaposition of like, you're welcome here, but you're not, you know? And then he just did one for issue number 3 with the Big James variant, which is so cool. It's like red and yellow and just pops off the page. And like released that one the same week as Cocaine Bear. Perfect. I was like, hey.
That's awesome. Oh no, that Christmas tree variant is really fun.
See that one too? Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's fun.
So we have fun. We do lots of shenanigans and stuff too. So yeah. Because we're gonna wrap it up here. We got 5 minutes. Any place that people can find you, follow along. Obviously, we put the Kickstarter link there. People can find you there, but
yeah,
Instagram, Facebook.
Kickstarter to grab your copies of Mechaton. I think the campaign ends on the 22nd, so you still have some time. Grab all the covers you like, all the issues you like. I'm on basically any social media that matters at Dalton K. Shannon. And in my bio on Twitter, there's a link to sign up for our newsletter. It comes out once a month and gives you an update on all the goings on here. What books we're working on, what books we're reading, cocktail recipes, cat pics, like a ton of, it's just a little bit of everything in the newsletter. And I have a website, it needs to be updated a little more regularly, daltonkshannon.com. And
I don't laugh because I feel you. I'm just like, that webpage.
Yes. I mean, that's what it, in a perfect world, I wouldn't need social media and it would just be my website and the newsletter. So I really need to get the website going a little better. But and you can follow Wells on Twitter at WellsThomp, THOMP. And we're posting there and go back Mechaton.
Yeah, go back it, people. Go check it out. There's a ton of stuff there that's really cool. Read that comic and finish out the arc, man.
Hell yeah. It only gets bigger from here.
I'm excited. I love hearing that because I feel the same. I'm like, read the thing and then this happens and then that. All right, everybody. Say bye-bye to Dalton. Bye, Dalton.
Bye-bye.
And I will see you all next week. We're going to be here. Campaign will be live next week. Oh, my God. I got so much stuff to do. But I love you guys and look forward to seeing you next week. Here's my heart. I'm terrible at doing this. But yeah, see you.
Hey friends, Morgan Quaid here to tell you about a little project called The Crimson Folly, a D&D inspired comic anthology which takes place in a fantasy tavern called, you guessed it, The Crimson Folly. I'm working with more than a dozen artists from all over the world to bring this story to life through sequential comic artwork, intricate portrait pieces, sketches, and of course, words. My aim is to produce a combined comic story and art book. The first 40 pages will be a comic book telling the main story of the Folly and using different artists to build out each section of the story. The art book will then contain sketches and short stories relating to characters from that story. So if you're a fan of D&D, fantasy artwork, comics, or just great storytelling, you'll love The Crimson Folly. Yes, you will.
How do you end this thing? How do you put the where's the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz
how to drive.
hands. Jazz hands.
Have a good night.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit